for leaving on YouTube with Stuart. Yeah, very interesting story. Something that happened to me tonight. I'm not long in, and I was out, obviously, and I was coming back through Northside Dublin, and I was crossing a bridge not too far from Croke Park. I don't know whether a lot of you know Croke Park. It's a GAA stadium where all the big GAA matches are played during the summer. And there's a canal not too far from there. And I was crossing the bridge going over the canal, and I happened to look over into the canal, and you know, I seen a load of ducks paddling away on the water. And bear in mind, it's 11:30 at night at this stage. It's quite late. I don't need you to tell me that there's a problem there. Well, I had to have a second look, and I realised that it was mammy duck and our 5 or 6 ducklings were paddling around the water at 11:30 at night. Now, this is irresponsible parenting as far as I'm concerned. And I thought to myself, Stu, you can't just walk by here and keep your head down and do what a lot of people do and just say to yourself, oh, I'm not getting involved in this. This is nothing got to do with me. I'm a responsible, rational adult, and once I seen what was going on here, I stopped and I was looking, and I was having a good look around the place, and I was looking for Daddy Duck, and I couldn't see him anywhere, And I thought to myself, well, this is highly irresponsible of a mother to bring her ducklings out for a paddle at 11:30 at night. And I'm sure most of us will agree that, if you're in the same position, you would be sort of saying to yourself, well, this is there's something wrong here. Something needs to be done about this. So yeah, I thought to myself, well, sure, what are you gonna do? How are you going to confront the situation and then deal with it? And I know some of you are looking at the screen and you're probably shouting, you're probably saying, Stu, why didn't you phone social services? Yeah, of course. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from. That thought did cross my mind. But then I thought about it a little bit, and I thought, well, Jesus, it's very close to Christmas, and okay, Mammy Duck has her baby ducks out on the water. It's very late. It's dysfunctional behaviour from an adult to have her ducklings out that late. I mean, the ducklings probably couldn't even see where they were going. And you have to ask yourself, what was Mammy Duck thinking? But in saying that, I thought about it, and I thought to myself, Stu, you can't phone social services. And I'll tell you why, because there's a couple of reasons why I decided not to phone social services. And when I explain these reasons to you, I think you'll agree that I actually made the right decision under the circumstances. And you're the time of year, of course, I'd have been straight onto them. But, this time of year, it's difficult. It's very difficult. So basically what I did was, I thought about it, I rationalised it in my head, and I thought, well, okay, it's coming up to Christmas time. Now, Mammy Duck has her ducklings out on the water. There's no sign of Daddy Duck, okay? Now, Daddy Duck, for all I know, could have been asleep. He could have been oblivious to what's going on here. And if that's the case, and we don't know the family dynamics, so I don't really want to get into that, but if that's the case, it means there's a lack of communication between Mammy and Daddy Duck. And that's something that needs to be addressed between Mammy and Daddy Duck. I don't want to get involved in the domestics of the situation, because it's none of my business, But because of what because of what I actually seen going on here, I felt I had to take a stand and basically get involved in some way and try to sort the situation out. Now, there's a possibility, obviously, that Daddy Duck is not part of the family anymore. I don't know. I mean, just like in the animal kingdom, as with the human, the human kingdom, I'm sure that ducks, male ducks, get female ducks pregnant and then decide that they don't want to be part of the kids or the ducklings' families, or the part of the family. And so close to Christmas, that's obviously disappointing. But at the same time, I didn't want to break up the duck family. And had I found social services, that's possibly what would have happened. And there's a number of reasons why I didn't want to get in. I didn't want to break up this particular duck family. And I'll tell you why. The first reason is, I don't want to separate Mammy Duck from her ducklings so close to Christmas. Because what may happen is the ducklings may get relocated to a foster duck family on another river in a different part of Ireland. And that's going to ruin their Christmas completely. Because they're going to be estranged from their mother, who will be off on her own somewhere contemplating. And, so close to Christmas, realising she's made a massive mistake having her ducks out on the water at that hour of night. So I was caught in a bit of a dilemma, a bit of a quandary, and I had to really think things through here. And the second reason is that, so close to Christmas, if we had been the cause of breaking up this particular duck family, the duck ones they probably wouldn't have got any presents, and Mammy Duck wouldn't have got to spend time with her ducklings. And this is a particularly vulnerable time of their life when they need their mother. They're helping them out, but not a dysfunctional mother like this particular Mammy Duck appears to be. But at the same time, she is their mother, and she has her own way of raising them, okay? But at the same time, I didn't want to break up the family. It's too close to Christmas. It's an important time of year. It's a time of year when families generally get together, and for that particular reason, I didn't want to break up this particular duck family. But there was a third reason as well that kind of swung it for me, that basically made me mind up not to phone social services. And that was because at this time of year, and there's probably a lot of you that are not aware of this, this is a duck's favorite time of year. A lot of people don't realise this, and the reason being is that everybody's interested in turkey and ham. There's a lot of people out there chasing turkeys around the place. Nobody's interested in ducks. When was the last time you had duck and ham for your Christmas dinner? I never have. So, and the ducks obviously were free to spread their wings and do their own thing without fear of being caught and captured by somebody. And that's, I kind of thought about it, and I realised maybe that's the reason why Mammy Duck has her ducks out on the water so late at night. It doesn't make it right, okay? It doesn't make it right. But it kind of makes it a little bit more understandable given the circumstances, if you know what I mean. Because this particular time of year, the ducks have a lot more freedom, and they can do what they want without being, without having to worry about being caught by people who like to have duck and orange sauce for supper. So with that being said, and taking everything into consideration, I decided not to phone the social services. And I'm pretty sure social services wouldn't thank me for not contacting them. But sometimes you have to think with your heart instead of your head, and not just say, oh, this is wrong. This is absolutely disgraceful behaviour from a dysfunctional mother who's basically going to pass this on to her own children, and this cycle will probably repeat itself when the ducklings have their own kids. Okay, but in saying that, there's other things that I don't know. I don't know what's going on within the family. I don't know whether Daddy Duck is part of the family. He may be, he may not be. He may have been asleep. For all I know, he was asleep, and Mammy Duck snuck the ducklings out for a paddle on the water and a waddle along the sidewalk. You know, we just don't know the family dynamics. And so taking all that into consideration, I thought the best course of action, and I'm sure most will agree with me, that under the circumstances, and with it being so close to Christmas, I made the right decision. Yeah, so, you know, it's difficult, you know. I was caught between a rock and a hard place, but I feel I made the right decision. If anybody disagrees with me, and thinks that I should have phoned social services, you know, just leave a comment and tell me why you think that is. But bear in mind that this particular time of year is the duck's favourite time of year. This is when they actually know that they're free to spread their wings, and they can actually enjoy themselves without fear of being captured and caught and put on an oven somewhere, you know. So you have to look at it from a duck's point of view as well. But in saying that, I did want to have a word with Mammy Duck before I went home, because I wasn't going to just, you know, leave her at that and say, okay, this is wrong, but not do anything about it. So basically, I spoke in duck language to Mammy Duck. Well, I say I spoke, I kind of shouted. Um, I know ladies are probably saying, Stu, what are you talking about? You spoke in duck language, did you? Really? Well, duck language is not that complicated. It's really straightforward language. I mean, there's only a couple of words, and most of them begin with Q. So it isn't that difficult a language to master. And thankfully, I've actually mastered this language over the last couple of years. I'm not Dr. Doolittle, I'll admit that, but I do know how to speak to ducks. And basically what I did was, I said to Mammy Duck, listen, you're banging out of order. Get the ducks off the water. Get them into bed. Read them a bedtime story. Preferably not about turkeys, to do with turkeys and Christmas, because that might give them nightmares. But read them a soothing bedtime story that can get them off to sleep. And if you want to go for the paddle on your own, get your boyfriend to look after them. That kind of thing. Just do things the right way. Use your head. Now Mammy Duck was obviously a little bit startled, because she looked up and she seen me looking down and pointing fingers, and, you know, I was telling her what I thought of the situation. And she was kind of a bit startled. But in fairness to her, she rounded up the ducklings and they went off paddling as quickly as they could down the canal, possibly back home. I hope he snuck in. If Daddy Duck was there, I hope he didn't hear them. But I don't know if Daddy Duck was there, you know. You know, that's not for me to, you know, it's not for me to get into that area of their life, you know. But yeah, that's how I dealt with the situation. I think I dealt with it the right way. If any of you disagree, feel free to leave a comment. And sure, until next time, take care. Bye bye.